I found myself asking her if she had a quill pen and inkwell, and the girl hurried to her room to fetch them. When she returned with them in her hand, I was overwhelmed by a great sense of sorrow, and at the same time tranquility. I held the quill pen, reunited at last after a long separation caused by one nightmare after another, with my most treasured art. I lifted my eyes from the paper and gazed at the girl who was now in my life and began to write their words, "Thank you, God," most skillfully and carefully in their Thuluthi script, a form of calligraphy in which the characters seem to lean upon one another, sway together, merge into each other, stretch out and fall asleep. When I had finished writing, I saw that the phrase had taken the form of a girl. The dots above the letters were her eyes, the letter S formed her mouth, the letter R her long hair, the letter L her noble nose, the letter N her breasts. When the girl recognized herself in this beautifully drawn phrase, she held the paper tight to her bosom and embraced me. I fell deeply in love with her and she fell for me, and so we made love and slept together in her big bed, and so did that phrase, which slept between us and saw how we were, clinging tight, as though we were rescuing each other from drowning. But this blissful sensation left me after a few hours, and I woke in the middle of the night, feeling as if a heavy stone lay upon my chest. I gazed about her room, and when my eye lit on the talisman on her door, I reminded myself that she was indeed the mistress of a demon, the grandson of Satan himself, and that we were together in a palace hidden in the earth beneath the forest, and that I would have to leave her in 4 days' time. At this final thought I woke her and whispered, "My beautiful one, let me deliver you from this prison and release you from that demon. Let me find a way for us to go back to my kingdom and country, where you will become a princess and we will live happily ever after." The girl laughed. "Don't be greedy, my love. Am I not off airing you 9 days with me here, with only the 10th for the demon?" But my passion and love for her overwhelmed me. "Do you believe for a moment that you are alive while you are buried beneath the earth in this false, glaring light? I wish only to show you the brightness of a genuine day, the beautiful world, the sun, the moon and the night, from all of which you have been deprived." But the young woman repeated her answer. "Don't you know that to be satisfied is a virtue? 9 days for you and 1 for the demon. I understand that fear makes you tolerate all the injustices bestowed upon you by this demon, but I cannot comprehend how you can tolerate being with him." At this the girl wept. I was inconsolable for a long time. I fainted each time I laid eyes on him, but habit and loneliness have reconciled me to his appearance and his company. I boiled with anger, screaming, "No, I can't bear any more to think of you living in this hell. I swear by God that I will fight this demon and take revenge upon him. I will kill him." I hurried over to the talisman, but the girl jumped up and pleaded with me. "I beg you not to touch it. If you do, it will destroy us both. I know the demon and his ways all too well." Then she said, "Unless you seek separation, I beg you hold back. Stay, jealousy destroys the very thing it loves, and such betrayal is condemned by heaven above." But I was oblivious to her words. I wanted to kill all demons and wipe them from the face of the earth, and I was determined to begin with him. I leaped on the talisman and broke it into pieces. The palace immediately began to shake, and there were great flashes of lightning and terrible thunderclaps. At this, it was as if all the wine was sucked out of my brain, and I cried out, "What happened?" The young woman answered, in the greatest alarm, thinking not of herself but only fearful for me, "It is the demon. Go, run for your life." I took to the staircase in one jump and fled, leaving my axe and rope behind. As I reached the last step, I saw the enchanted palace. split apart, and the demon appeared in the center, asking the girl, with utmost annoyance and anger, "What's the matter? Why have you called me?" The girl answered him hastily. "I felt unbearable pain in my belly. And so I drank some wine, and then when I was a little bit drunk I fell on the talisman and broke it." The demon was enraged, his anger resembled no other anger, and when he screamed at her, the steps beneath my feet vibrated and shook. "What about this axe and rope, you slut? You cannot tell me that. They don't belong to a human being. I have never before laid eyes upon them. They must have caught onto your clothes on your way here," the girl answered him innocently. But the demon wasn't fooled. He slapped her face so hard that I felt it squeeze my heart. Then he stripped her naked and bound her feet and hands to 4 stakes, flogging her with my own rope in order to extract her confession. Her screams and cries filled the palace and my ears, and when I could bear it no more I climbed the last step and left. Outside, my agony and despair for the girl boiled over into disgust at myself. I could not fathom how in my selfishness and arrogance I had caused this tragedy. But I replaced the wooden plank as it had been before and covered it with weeds and earth. I found the bundle of wood I had gathered just before I stumbled on the trapdoor and hurried back to the tailor. He cheered with great relief when he saw me. "I thought one of your father's enemies had discovered who you were and killed you." I didn't tell him what had happened to me or to my axe and rope. How I wished later that I had, rather than sitting on my own, reproaching myself over and over, thousands of times, for my terrible behavior in leaving the young woman staked out on the ground, suffering such affliction and harrowing pain. Regret and sadness gnawed at me because I would never again see the girl with whom I had fallen in love, body and soul, and I could no longer take any joy in this life, even if I were to make my way back to my country and family. Nothing could compare to her. All of a sudden the tailor came into where I was sitting. "There is an old man who would like to return your axe and rope." The woodcutters recognized them and told him where to find you. My limbs shook and trembled, I felt the color drain from my face, and I looked for a way to escape. "What's wrong with you, what's the matter?" the tailor asked. Before I could answer him the floor split open and an old man appeared, holding my axe and rope. "Aren't these yours?" he said. He didn't wait for an answer, but grabbed me by the waist and fl. You away with me, high among the clouds, with the wind biting my face, until I found myself back in the underground palace. I saw the young woman stretched on the floor as if she was dead, blood covering her body and her face awash with tears. The demon threw me to the ground and cried, "Hey, slut! Look what I have brought you!" Then he dragged me by my foot until I was facing her. "Isn't this man your lover?" he asked. The girl looked at me with her dreamy eyes, without blaming me for what I had brought upon her, and said, "I don't know him. I've never set eyes on him before." "You deny knowing him who is the cause of your punishment." The demon screamed. "Do you wish me to lie to you so that you may kill him without reason or pity?" the girl whispered. "If you are telling the truth and you do not know him, then it should be easy for you to strike off his head." He made her stand up, covered her battered body and then handed her his sword. She took it and approached me. I looked at her, trying to signal that I wished she would forgive me for what I had done.